Hi, everybody. Sound check. I'm hoping you're hearing me now. Yay. Alright, so we have sound now. There we go. Had to re-plug in my microphone there. I don't know why the sound died on me, but hey, welcome everybody. This is the quarterly summit for the spring of 2017. I'm your host, Captain Fall Damage Foglotta. Yep, that's me. You can find me at the bottom of any cliff. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. We are Gaiscioch. We're a public community event host slash gaming community slash magazine slash all kinds of other things. We like to do anything that we dream of. So you can find out all of our major information down there at the bottom. You'll see gaiscioch.info, and then throw on slash YouTube slash Twitch slash Facebook slash Twitter slash Discord slash Steam slash hello. Yeah, I need to make that slash hello. That'd be good. Anyways, this is our quarterly summit. We will go through and give you some news on the latest great stuff. I will try to re-give you a spiel because nobody heard me. So we'll fast forward this through the new and updated. Gaiscioch Magazine meet Google News. Finally, after 3 years, Google News has decided that we are a valid publisher of news and information. So our magazine has been listed on Google News. Why is this a big thing? Because Google's awesome and they drive a ton of traffic. And we're finally into their little news index, which will definitely send some traffic our way. In addition, I've made all of our articles IMP mobile pages friendly, so they will be very fast on the mobile devices. So if you read it on your phone, it should be very, very, very fast for you. And that also gets us in Google's good side. So we love you, Google. Thank you. Anyways, we have annual meetups. Our West Coast meetup is in Seattle, Washington, September 3rd. That's a Sunday at 6 p.m. That is the same time as the PAX West Expo. So if you are at PAX West, come on and visit that Sunday night at Fido's Irish Pub. We're also going to be holding one in Atlanta, Georgia on Friday, October 13th. That's my favorite day of the whole year right there, Friday the 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern. And that will be in Fido's Irish Pub over there in Buckhead. Look forward to seeing you there. Extra Life, we are thinking bigger. For the past 6 years, we've evolved our participation in the Extra Life event. We started off by doing that 24-hour thing, but most of us are old. So 24 hours straight playing video games, either arthritis will kick your butt, or you'll fall asleep, or you'll just downright pass out. So we don't hold up as well. So we spread it out over 2 days. And when we spread it out over 2 days, we said, why not have a party for 2 days? So we're throwing a big public community event this year, much like the Tulara Saga and Great Turn Adventure. It'll be complete with raffle prizes, Gaiscioch passport experience for participation, and leaderboards showing the top fundraisers. You can learn more by going to gaiscioch.info/extralife. I am currently working on the site, so it probably won't look that great yet, but it will soon, and it'll be awesome. And we'll have some sign-ups and prize giveaways and all kinds of good stuff. We'll be raffling off actual games for this event, so we'll be allowing you to pick and choose of our library of awesome game titles. So thank you so much for thinking of joining us. It should be the biggest year that we've had to date. We've raised over $31,000 over the 6 years that we've run this, and I look forward to kicking that over 50 sometime soon. So here's something else that's new. This year we're going to be giving contributors to our Extra Life campaign. So if you donate $250, you're going to be able to get a quarter page. If you've donated $500, it'll be a half page. $1,000 will be a full page. And that'll basically be our way of saying thank you. So if you donate that amount to our Extra Life campaign, we will give you a page in our magazine. You can post whatever you want in there. So if you have another charity that you want to give it to, you can do that. If you want to post your own business on there, you can do that as long as it's family friendly and not profane. We will be happy to do that. As a disclaimer, Gaiscioch does not handle any money. All of that's handled by the Children's Miracle Network and Extra Life. So we won't be touching any money. It's not money coming to us. It's directly us giving you something for supporting us in this endeavor. So I thought it would be a really nice touch for a way to give a little back scratch to all those people that are contributing funds to us. So we have a new pre-login homepage. I'm sure some of you may have noticed. For about a year now, I've wanted to pretty much do away with the homepage that we had before login and give more of a overall picture of who we are and what we do. So over the past quarter, I revisited the Gaiscioch homepage, giving first-time viewers a better look inside of who we are and what we do. The homepage now gives you a sneak peek at the main features and programs that make our community a great place to be. You can check that out by just going to gaiscioch.com or gaiscioch.info, and then don't log in, and you'll see it. We also updated our mentorship program. So we launched this about last quarter, and it had a pretty good, I think there was 5 or 6 of us that were doing it pretty regularly. Each of us had pretty much 5 to 10. As you can see, my list is pretty huge. That's all my apprentices that have actually approved. What I've done now is made it so that each mentor can have 10 players the day they join, plus 5 more for every mentor rank they go up. So as they help more and more people gain levels within the family, they gain more and more mentor ranks. And then by doing that, they are allowed to take on more students. Mentors must be active on the site at least once every 7 days, or it will remove all their students from their mentorship and allow their students to be picked up by another mentor. This is kind of a preemptive AFK check to make sure that if a mentor goes AFK, their students don't get lost in the woodwork. The mentorship program was built from the ground up to help support new members who join the community, and honestly, our community kind of felt like it would be drinking water through a fire hose with a straw. Yeah, it was a little overwhelming at first, and we found a lot of members, especially people like we looked in our records, and there was people that joined in 2012 and haven't ever received a promotion before. So he wanted to kind of find a way that we can keep people from being trapped at the bottom of the food chain and work their way up and actually experience Gaiscioch to all its fullest. So that's how we did it. And now I've even made a way that students can opt out or cancel mentorship at any time using their profile. So if they go to their profile page, they can just say, no, I don't need a mentor, go ahead and mentor somebody else. And that's all handled through their profile page. So now we're going to move on to our community update. In Rift, we have Foglata, Izzy, Donnellium, Raynor, Tip, and Pops. I might have missed one, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the active crew. I know Bree is kind of floating around all the different areas now. So our floaters are Prissy, Selrina, Old Goat, and Bree. They're pretty much bouncing into all the different games and even some of our social adventures doing their own thing. Bree is still a tremendous help with the magazine team, so you'll find her working away over there. With our Guild Wars 2 team, we have Foglata, Soren, Smitty, Terrafer, Daragran, Rylissa, Gmod Fog, and Micah. And then Elder Scrolls, Verve, Kate, Tilted Piper, Steep World, Sir Henry Vale, and Ian. If you have any questions about the community, these are all really good people to go talk to. You should see their names in orange on Discord at the very top. Feel free to PM any one of them if you have any questions about the community. Next up, we have our congratulations. There's a whole lot of people that got promoted this last quarter. Big news is Puka. Puka became a legend. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time. And let this be known. Puka is not actually a Gaiscioch. He's a Harbingers of Light. Yet he is a legend within our community. This is one of the unique factors of Gaiscioch, is that we have members who are not actually in-game members, but they are part of our community even still. We don't put a guild tag above your head more important than the person. Puka, congratulations, you definitely earned it. You have been with us for a very long time and riding alongside us and running HOL as a 2-often member right alongside us. And you guys have been a real big blessing, so I'm very happy to bring you up into the Legends rank. Additionally, we had DC and Frista join the War Council. That's pretty much our leaders. They run events regularly and have proven their worth on the battlefield. So those are all people that everybody below them has said is an awesome leader. The way that Gaiscioch works is the bottom of the food chain basically tells who's the leader, not the top of it. So I can't actually give anybody a token of valor. The only people that can give them tokens of valor are people that are lower ranked than themselves. So that's kind of a neat little fun thing about Gaiscioch is that leaders become leaders by impressing the people below them, not the people above them. And then we have a bunch of guardians. These are kind of our veteran members, or I guess beyond veterans. They're what most guilds would consider officers. They're key points of contact. If you have questions about the community, you most likely know it. So feel free to hit up any one of them. Our people, 3 months, and have basically worked their way up the food chain. And then our members, those guys have all been here more than 7 days and have cleared the first couple of hurdles, accepted the first credo. They can start leading events if they like. It's basically up to them what they choose to do next. And then this is a really cool thing. That's our please welcome column for the quarter. We had quite a few people join us this last quarter. Mainly, I think, because of the Telara saga, brought a lot of them in. And we also had a resurgence of folk for ESO, with Morrowind making its announcement. They're well on their way to getting that branch all ready to go and looking to roll right into Morrowind head first and do all kinds of fun stuff. So welcome to everybody that's new. I look forward to meeting each and every one of you, whether you're in Rift, GW2, or ESO. I look forward to leading you off a cliff someday. So let's go ahead and jump right into the progress report, and then I will open up the floor for some questions a little bit on any of this stuff prior. So if you have any questions, be sure to write them down. We will go ahead and cover those all. So here's our population. As you guys know, for the last 3 years since ESO's release, we've kind of been on a downward trend. I'm kind of trying to find where we balance out. Mainly because the guild systems all limit us to 500 people per guild, and that really hurt us coming out of Rift, which was unlimited. We went from having 2,700 people, actual people, not characters, 2,700 people, and tried to jump into GW2, which had a 500 person limit. We maxed out 5 guilds and still had people left over, and become a giant mad management mess, and we ended up losing most of those people. So an ESO hit, we tried to do our best with the same sort of system, and that thinned us out as well. Eventually, we rejoined Rift when the new expansion was launched, which was back November of last year. So that's picking up, but all of our communities pretty much are hovering around the 200 to 300 range. I think Rift and ESO are both hovering at 220. Like every day, it seems like they're hitting 220, and then under 220, then over 220, and then back to 220. It's pretty much coasting right at there. I mean, that's a good number. I mean, honestly, when you're logging into either of those games, there's always someone to play with, always something going on. It's not too much of a management issue. It's fairly comfortable, and I kind of like that size. We're not looking to be the biggest. We want to be the friendliest, and we want to be the biggest contributor to the communities that we play in. So, and I feel that we're at a good size to be able to do that in all 3 of our chapters. So on our media progress, we have Twitch is the purple line, surprise, surprise, YouTube, red line, and Twitter is our blue line. Magazine subs are our green line. These are just people that subscribe to the magazine itself, not including all of the Gaiscioch subscribers on top of that, which would equate to another 5,000 or so. So each time that we publish a magazine, it goes out to the entire roster of Gaiscioch and to the 252 people that have subscribed directly to the magazine. So, pretty good subscriber list for a publication that doesn't make any money and does it just for the fun of it. So, kudos to the magazine team for working their butts off to make that happen. So our big achievements of the last quarter, we successfully deployed the Telara Saga in Rift and even awarded a prize worth $12,000. I mean, that was crazy. I didn't expect that to happen, but Tryon dropped a silver tier loyalty on us to give away, and we were able to give that away during the Telara Saga. So that was pretty much our most valuable prize that we've ever given, by $12,000, we basically mean you would have to spend $12,000 in Rift to be able to acquire that same loyalty tier. So one lucky winner, who just happens to be a Gaiscioch member, actually won that. So that's pretty cool. We saw Rift and ESO stabilize at about 220 active players. It's been pretty much that way for a few months now. I don't expect it to really go either way. I expect probably when ESO releases Morrowind, that'll probably take another jump, but I don't see it really dropping too much further than that. I think it's going to be pretty much between 200 and 300 for probably the next year. We opened up the Gaiscioch Guild Hall in Elder Scrolls Online. I believe that's Verve's house, is how I understand it. Is that right, Verve? There we go. We created community events engine to drive future public community events. That's pretty much our Tulara Saga site and also Great Terran Adventure site, which will also be the site for the Extra Life coming soon. We got listed in Google News, as I mentioned before. We began crafting our legendary weapons for the Great Terran Adventure. We, I believe, have 5 or 6 in production right now, and I just got 2 more that we will be able to turn into legendaries, 2 more precursors. So that should be fun. I'm going to try to crank all that out before August when we kick off the Great Terran Adventure. And then we successfully launched the Mentor system. So at this point, I'm going to open the floor to all those folk in Discord. If you have a question and you're watching on Twitch, feel free to type X, and then I'll call on you and you can ask a question. Otherwise, those of you in Discord, please type X in general chat, and I will call on you one by one. You can ask your question. Those of you in Discord, you will want to mute Twitch and then unmute Discord for the time being. If we have no questions, we will just proceed. And it's pretty much just questions about the stuff that we've covered so far. We're going to have little question sessions for each one of the games as well.
Sorry, I got booted out. I have a question.
Go for it. Ask away.
Yeah, I'd like to get more info. I'm not really familiar with that that charity thing, raising money, the gaming event or whatever. I'm not really familiar with that.
Okay, the Extra Life event is an annual event. It takes place in the fall, where we basically have a gameathon, which Gaiscioch has turned into a 2-day live stream event. We basically will host 5 events per day, each of them spanning, well, the total of each of the 5 events, I believe, is 2 hours, and with a couple 3-hour events thrown in. Each day is 12 hours long for the streaming, and then that all equates to the 24 hours that we need for the Extra Life event. It's kind of like remember the old walkathons in the day? It's a gameathon. So we basically play games for 24 hours, raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. It's a fun thing that we do every year. It'll be all over everything. So if you're on the Gaiscioch magazine site, you'll see it. If you're on the Gaiscioch site, you'll see it. We have a domain name that I'll have updated here soon for it. But we will definitely be raising some money for the Children's Miracle Network. I'm hoping to also have some cards and flyers that you guys can post around if you want to try to do some local marketing for it.
I guess I'm familiar with what it is. What I'm not familiar with is how it raises money, and that's what I'm interested more in is how does it raise money? If that makes sense.
I thought it was donations because there's a donation tab.
Sorry, we'll get the little receipt so that it's all tax deductible. Extra Life is a nonprofit organization, so it's fully tax deductible. So you get all that stuff directly from them. And then I get a little spreadsheet of who donated what, so I can contact people.
So the actual game-a-thon part itself doesn't raise money. There's not like anyone who pledges per hour or anything
No.
like that.
No, there's no hourly pledges. It's a flat donation. Some people can actually, you can also do it where you basically pay $5 a month. You can contribute $5 a month towards Extra Life. I know they have that as well, but it's not like you get paid per hour. It's a flat donation. You play the 24 hours over those 2 days, and you don't have to play like the games that we're streaming. You don't have to play. We basically just try to take a tour of all, our big 3 games, Rift, ESO, GW2 will be on both days. And then there'll be 4 games on both ends of those 3 games that are pretty much, usually we'll use 2 that are kind of favorites from the prior year, and then 2 that are new for the next year. So it'll probably be something that's coming out, 2018 or late 2017 that we can jump in, have some fun, show it. Get some entertainment going, and those will usually be the morning shift and the late night shift. But yeah, you don't have to attend all of them. You can do your own games. You can host your own events in whatever game you're playing. It's not like you have to be wherever we're doing the stream. Do that whole event. You can do it wherever. You can play PlayStation if you want.
Okay, so it's more of a way to. For a reason, you still just get people to donate, and then they're using Extra Life, the gaming event, just as a way to promote it.
Right, and that's why we're doing the live streams, is to help promote it, get those further up, and plan on doing giveaways and stuff like that for anyone that does participate. And by participate, I mean either watching or playing. So I have roughly about 100 games that we'll be putting up for prizes. So that'll be pretty fun. And I'm hoping to get some more from other developers. So we'll see.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone else have any other questions? I'm not seeing any other questions anywhere. If not, we can proceed. All right, let's go and go. So next, we're going to talk about Chapter 4, Guild Wars 2. This is our biggest of the house. Ta-da! There they are. Aren't they a handsome bunch? So, what's new? Flashpoint. This new chapter of the Living Story came out. There's a new zone called Mantle Rock Scald. New legendary armor for raids. A legendary torch. And, of course, a new chapter of the Living Story. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a little trailer.
One of Lazarus's aspects. Without it, they could have never resurrected Lazarus. The real Lazarus.
Mortal danger. A Mersat / not a Mersat on the way.
He's on the way? What should we do? He's trapped us here.
The lies, the willingness to kill to get what he wants.
No, it can't be. The charade ends here.
So there you have it. That is what you have to look forward in Flashpoint. A little story preview. For those of you that are in Discord, you probably want to mute Discord again and then go unmute Twitch. That way you're back in the timeline. And welcome, Nocturnal. Thanks for tuning in. So, next we have Guild Wars 2 expansion. In a recent AMA on Reddit, Michael Bryan, who many of you guys know is one of the top cheeses over at ArenaNet, said, "We'll announce today that today's episode, Flashpoint, is the second to last episode of the season. Yes, that means what you think it means. There is only one more episode after this, and then it's straight to the expansion pack." It continued, "Our rough plan is to slot the expansion pack into the release cadence as if it were an episode. So you have episode 5, then episode 6, then expansion pack, then episode 1. So, if following that timeline, with the timeline of the prior Living Stories, we're looking at a launch time frame right around PAX West, which would kind of fall in line with ArenaNet. PAX West is in their backyard. They love astonishing that show. They have had more Best of Show awards than any other game studio I've ever seen. And it's mainly because they release the big information right at PAX West. So they always throw the wildest parties, always have the best booth. It's definitely a thing to go check out. So if you're going to PAX West this year, check out the ArenaNet booth. I guarantee you they're going to be there. If not, they'll have their own private party somewhere. So check it out. And the other good news is, if that is true, then the timeline for the expansion will be right around the Great Tyrian Adventure, which will be awesome, because I can plan stuff for that, and we can go explore the new world together. So that could be a lot of fun. Speaking of Great Tyrian Adventure, we're looking at August 2017 as our time frame, putting together a team to begin scouting and planning activities. If you want to be a part of that team, let me know. We'll probably be using some weekend hours and possibly some Thursday nights to go scout out some areas. I've got a rough plan in mind of what we want to do, but if there is an expansion coming, I kind of want to leave the tail end of the adventure open so that we can use that for new expansion content. So that should be good. We are targeting an audience of about 100 players. We are crafting several legendaries. We're going to be collecting some precursor materials, exotic skins, all that good stuff, so that we can help build up that prize library. And then we will also have the weekly chapter and season raffles, just like we did for the Telara Saga and their prior Great Tyrian Adventure. This will be a 10-week event, so 5 weeks will probably be in the classic worlds, probably some of the hot content, but the final 10 weeks will hopefully be in newer content, either the Living Story Part 6 or in the expansion if we're lucky enough. You never know. You'll learn more at www.greattyranadventure.com. So now I'm going to open up Discord and let our event leaders promote their events, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. I ask that if you want to talk in Discord, please type an X in general chat and I'll call on you, and then you can give your little spiel. For those that are interested in joining me for some Siege Warfare, I run Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific. We usually will be doing World v. World, unless we're paired up with a server who is just disgustingly horrible to be around. Then we'll be in Edge of the Mist. We've done that in the past. Not that JQ was bad, we just didn't like Tier 1. I found that people just really didn't want to come out and play in Tier 1, so we moved it to Edge of the Mist to keep people happy. Gmoff, go ahead.
Hi. For all the beginners out there that want to get some XP and learn how to play, Wednesday afternoons, 2 p.m. Pacific, I do a beginning map clear event. And on Saturday, we've taken on a world map clear. It takes about 2 weeks for each zone, but at the end of this year, we should have a world completion done. So that one's on Saturday at 8 a.m.
Awesome. Thank you, Gma. And also be sure to check out Gma's stories that she writes with Gpopog in Gaiscioch magazine. They've done quite a few, and they all come with recipes that you can actually use. Kitty asked, is the expansion pack going to be really meaty and full of content, or is it the same level of the Living Story episodes? It's going to be a full expansion pack. Whole new world, new stuff. I can't really get into the specifics of it, but from what Mike says, it's going to be pretty big. So they have 2 teams working on it. So that's pretty cool. Do we have any other event leaders that want to promote their events? Kitty. Maybe Kitty. You would have to unmute Discord, Kitty. I think Kitty should promote her event in Spanish. Kitty, promote your event in Spanish first.
Hola amigos, quiero promocionar que tengo el evento para enseñarles las fractales, mostrarles el camino hacia las fractales, las joyas de los achievements y demás cosas lindas. In English, I do the fractals event, so if you are a newbie and so if you're a newbie, you never had any experience about fractals. Sorry, I had to mute Twitch. So yeah, I have the fractal teaching group along with Nambri on Wednesdays. So fractals, newbies, welcome.
Thank you, Kitty. And I think that's pretty much all my EW2 event leaders that are here right now. Alright, Lisa, you're not running anything anymore, right? I think you're on break. And we can move on. So next up, Chapter 5, Elder Scrolls Online. Ta-da! That's a very good-looking crew with a fiery mountain behind us. So the next big thing for ESO is Morrowind. Everyone's been ranting and raving about this Morrowind, so much that we decided to make it the cover story of issue 13 for Gaiscioch magazine. We got 3 interviews lined up, talking to the team behind Elder Scrolls Morrowind. We were talking with an artist, we're talking with a lore folk, and we're talking with one of the producers. So we'll have those 3 interviews hitting right about the week that Morrowind goes live. And it'll be featured on the cover of our next magazine. So do tune in for that. You can learn more at gsch.info/mag. And we're less than a month away from launch, pretty much. I guess it's almost a month exactly, right? Yeah, a month exactly. We have a wealth of new content to explore. Does anyone know how to pronounce it? I mean, I've never heard anyone pronounce it correctly. Everyone kind of makes it up. I've heard Vardenfall or Wardenfall or, yeah, don't know. But yeah, so there's a new world to explore, new trials to be rated, and a PvP arena, which is 3v3v3, which sounds pretty awesome. I think that we're going to have to go in there and seek out some glory in that new battlefield. That should be fun. Farn don't fall. I like that. Farn don't fall. Oh, 4v4v4. That's what it is.
It's very much Vard and Fell for the official.
Vard and Fell. Okay, got it. So before I go further, I'll show you the little preview of that. Or I won't. It broke. Oh well, that trailer doesn't work. Alright, so we are going to go to the open forum. If you have a question, please feel free to hit X. This is about our ESO chapter. Or you can also just go ahead and send me a PM, and I'll be happy to read off your question for you. Any event leaders want to promote their events? I lead a weekly AVA session on Saturday mornings at 11 a.m. Everybody's welcome to join me, although if you are not Evan Hart, you most likely will be killed by us. Sorry. Go ahead, Sir Henry.
Hello, everyone. I run 4 events a week, usually. On Wednesdays, I run the Undaunted Fighter Mage Guild events every 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. On Saturdays, I run 2 events, the Undaunted Mage Fighter Guild, 4:30, about a half an hour after Fog's PvP event on Saturdays. And that's on Eastern time. Let me do 1:30 Pacific time. I also run a, this one rotates. I run a Cyrodiil or Imperial City event every Saturday evening at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm from Eastern time, so I usually say Eastern. 6 Pacific. This week is Cyrodiil Sky Shard run. Next week is PvP. And the following week is the Imperial City Sky Shards and questing slash what do you call it, world bosses and stuff like that. And then the following week's back to PvP. So it rotates between PvP and Sky Shards. And on Sundays, I do a Karaglon event on which does the world bosses, daily quests, and helping other questing for people that need to finish the storylines. But a lot of, mostly we do, we try to do old world bosses, and we do 3 daily quests on Sundays.
Awesome.
I think that's all my events.
Thank you.
My scheduled events, anyway.
Burv, would you like to go next?
I would. I've got a couple of events going on Tuesday. We run the one Tamriel map clear. Since they started the one Tamriel thing, it doesn't matter what level you are. You can come and join the group, and we can go into any zone on the entire place. 16 of them, unless you count Imperial City. A lot of fun. We get the public dungeon. We get all the public stuff, all the group stuff knocked out. Public dungeon, skill point, Sky Shard in there. We do the world bosses. We do the dolmens. Time left over, we knock out a few other things. And we figured out a way to add in the quests most of the time for the fighters, mages, and undaunted guilds, so we get a few extra XP out of that. Sunday evenings we run raids. Our raids have evolved, or perhaps devolved. We're getting much better at them, I think, into any level can go on those too. We have drug level 12 or 20, level 12 to level 20 players through some of the end game content, the high level 12-man dungeons that are very difficult to do. Once you know the mechanics, once you know a few things about it, it turns out it's not that tough. So everybody's welcome to come to that. Make sure you sign up on the website to reserve your spot if you want to be one of the 12 on Sunday. And last but not least, we don't have enough events going on. So we're recruiting 4 event leaders. If you have an idea for an event, or you want to know how to post one up on the website and need some help in getting that thing kicked off, feel free to grab me anytime you can, or Sir Henry, or any of the elders, and let's get some more events on the calendar, please.
That would be awesome. All right, I don't see any more questions. Let's go ahead and proceed. Next up is Rift. There's our crew posing in front of our shrine for Gaiscioch. Talaris Saga wrap up. We had 221 registered participants, 146 raffle winners. Rob Dolph, a fellow Gaiscioch member, walked away with a silver tiered loyalty, which is worth $12,000. Gathered more than 350 prizes, so we got a little stockpile for next year. So we'll be kicking off the next Talaris Saga in January of 2018, hoping to see some more content come to the game before then. And then we'll start planning this fall. So sometime around the time that Talaris Saga or the Great Turn Adventure kicks off, we'll be starting to plan out the next Talaris Saga. So you can stay tuned for that. So this quarter we had Rift 4.1 release that improved the looking for groups or looking for raid system. It improved or it gave us eternal weapons, the Arcanic Depths 10-man raid, which is fairly easy. If you're looking to get into raiding, this is a good point of entry. We do have our fun runs on Mondays where we've been cruising through everything else, but the Arcanic Depths, we've been going at it for quite a while and have had great success completing it. So just ask in guild chat, someone will drag you along. We do it all day long, every day. So there's improved customization in armor tinting, and we saw some new crafting rifts. I haven't tried one out, but I hear they're awesome. Lakshmi runs an event with those. So do check those out. And then cross-shard trading, you can now trade whether you're on Fabelight or not, which is kind of cool because when we do those fun runs, we were never able to give the skins to the people that weren't on our server. So now we can actually do that. So that's kind of cool. And then class balancing, there was a huge amount of class balancing. So do check out those patch notes. I'm going to play a little trailer for you and show you what all was exciting in this patch.
In fire and in blood I live. Let chaos reign. I take the name Malanon. You cannot stand against a god.
So there we go. Next up, Eternal Weapons. The grind is real. Yes, if you have not tried it yet, the Eternal Weapons are quite the little endeavor there. So what we are doing, we are holding events. All of us are pretty much focusing some of our events on helping fix that grind and making it less so. So don't go at it alone. We have plenty of events. Sundays, Shmi has her Starfall Crypting. Those rifts will count for your closing rifts numbers. Certain steps you'll have to close a certain number of rifts. That will count for that. On Tuesdays, 6 to 8 p.m., there's the Tartanic Depths 10-man. We have those running pretty much all week, but that one's the only scheduled one that we have. Fridays, 6 to 8, we have the low, mid, and high-level zone events. We'll be doing different activities targeting some of those key things that you need to do, like killing footholds and killing a certain number of rift creatures. We'll be targeting that. And then the Eternal Grind, we have an event on the calendar Saturdays, 7 to 9 a.m. That's before I even wake up on Saturdays, but if you're awake in that time frame, do attend that event. I'm sure that'll be very, very, very handy in getting that Eternal Weapon quest complete. Aside from that, we have our Gaiscioch raiding team. As you guys know, about last quarter, we announced that we were going to start doing fun runs and seeing how far we can get in a lot of these different raids and build up for the Starfall Prophecies raids. And what I can tell you is that we have progressed quite tremendously through a lot of these. We've done quite a few of them. There's a few that, like HK, that are just insanely long, and with a 2-hour time slot, you can't really get through it in 2 hours. At least not yet. Maybe when we can finally, get our team situated, we might be able to pull it off. But there's only 4 raids that we haven't tried yet. So Gilded Prophecies, the Wren of Fate, Grim Awakening, and Triumph of the Dragon Queen are the only ones that we haven't really completed anything in. So we're going to be probably targeting those over the next few weeks. We're still poking away at Mom. That has been a lot of fun. We cleared 3 of 9 so far. I think we could probably get a little further than that if we had the time, and now that we know how the first 3 fights go. And then there was another one last week. I forget what we even did last week, but we owe that spider boss another hit. So if you like raiding and want to do it in more of a fun manner, less of a stressed out manner, do check us out. Mondays, 6 p.m. Pacific. We also do raiding on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific. So feel free to come out. So let's go ahead and do our open forum for Rift. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything that's on your mind, please feel free to share. Just type X and we will call on you, or you can just type it in and we will read it for you. Go ahead, you're on.
I know I've been away just a little bit since I am beta testing out of game, but in a couple of weeks the beta test will end, and you guys can expect a return of events for the Bloodfire mount and for some off hours crafting and or grinding items for the crafted weapons and armor.
Awesome. All right, Mariel. I think it's Alana, right? Wondering how long of a delay we have today. Okay, in the guild bank, she's asking if taking Artie's take one, replace one. I also use the armor links for costume stuff. So what we have is in our first page, you have the all the artifacts. So what we ask is that if you take one, you place one. So when your minions come back with a bunch of artifacts you already have, you just toss them in there, and then take whichever ones you need. That helps keep it full and helps it continue to grow and have new artifacts in there regularly. So if you start seeing a stack of like 50 of them, we'll probably start clearing those out as elders. So don't worry about them if you're just enjoying life and being a regular member. Let us worry about that. And then our last tab is all wardrobe stuff. So you can just mouse over it, see which skins you don't have, drag it to your inventory, and then drag it back. And we'll stick all kinds of fun little skins in there for you to collect. So we try to keep that vault full at all times, and then we will rotate the skins pretty much every month. I try to go in there, throw in some new ones, send some of the old ones to my alt, and then bring them back in a few more months. Sunday morning crafts, I do not believe require you to bring your own lure. We pretty much hold those for everybody, and we try to do them in an organized fashion, but we're not like the other guilds out there that run them and make you bring your own lure. So if you want to try out some crafts, feel free to come out. Hit up Lashmi. I don't think she's here for this event, but she is always in game, it seems. I see her a lot in there, so you can find her. Okay, anyone else? And same with Jerome. He also runs the crafts, so hit him up. I think that's all our riff questions. We can proceed. Next up are recreational social adventures slash new games on the horizon slash what's coming up. This is kind of where we start testing the waters for games, seeing who is interested in what. We have several polls about upcoming games on our site, and we watch those and see who's interested in what. When you're logged in the Gaiscioch site, just scroll down to social adventures and you will see some vote buttons. And you can select which ones you're interested in, and that will help us gauge. Now there are some on there that will be social adventures no matter how well they do. Like Camelot Unchained, as much as we like it and as much as we like Mark Jacobs, that one will be a social adventure purely because there's no PvE. Without PvE, having the vast majority of our players be PvE right now, it would be certain suicide for us to roll in there as a chapter and expect it to do well. It just doesn't fit our demographic. So I will be playing it for sure. It'll be fun as a social adventure, but it will not be a chapter unless they announce that there's a whole PvE side of this thing. But, that's not going to happen. What I can tell you is Ashes of Creation. This is a game that recently popped up, I believe last December. It made itself known. kind of came out of nowhere. They just launched their Kickstarter. If you go to gsch.info/ks/AOC, that will jump you over to their Kickstarter. A lot easier than going through their really, really, really long domain. I created that a couple days ago just to help direct people there. The cool thing is they were fully funded in the first 12 hours of their campaign. The $750,000 raised in 12 hours. They raised over $1 million in their first 24 hours. As you know, a few other games have gone up on Kickstarter and usually top out around the $1 million mark. So to hit that in 24 hours, that was quite substantial. The nice thing about this is that with the milestones that they've hit already, we're looking at group mounts, tavern games, and we are very, very, very close to naval content. So that would be exploring the open seas, ship-to-ship combat, stuff like that. Now this is a big one. A lot of people have come to me and said, Bog, I really don't know why you support this game. They're charging $45 and you only get like a few months subscription with that Kickstarter. You know, they don't even give you the box. This game doesn't have a box. It's not a game where you buy the game. It's basically a free download, then you subscribe to play. Their model is completely a subscribe for a service. So they're treating it like you would Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime. You basically subscribe to it, and you can play it for as long as you like. All the expansions and everything are rolled up into that. So you're not having to buy a box. You're not having to pay up front anything. You basically just subscribe. And then as long as you're a subscriber, you can play the content and all the extra content that comes with it. There will be a cash shop in there for cosmetic only. They have been very clear that they do not want anything that's pay to win, and that they're only going to be offering things on a cosmetic level. So why is Ashes of Creation important to Gaiscioch? First of all, their design is focused on community-centric gaming, and they're very focused on creating a large guild-friendly environment. This is something that's not seen in MMOs today. I will tell you, I've looked at every MMO that has been announced, you know, whether it's in China, Korea, Japan, you know, the United States, or in Europe. I've even looked at one MMO from South Africa that has launched, and none of them support large guilds. They are all shrinking guild systems below 100. Gaiscioch simply cannot go into a game that supports guild systems only at 100 people. That just won't happen. That's pretty much automatic disqualification. We've tried it with 500 and it failed miserably. We want to make sure that we can bring our family with us when we go somewhere. So this is a huge, huge, huge win. The other thing is opt-in PvP, where you have Camel Unchained forces PvP upon you. You have Crowfall forces PvP upon you. Chronicles of Valeria forces PvP on you. This is a major hang-up for a lot of our players. We have PvE players, we have PvP players. The PvP players love to PvP, but they don't want to subject our PvE players to being forced to PvP. So this is a big thing. So this is the first game where we have siege warfare, we have PvP, we have raiding, we have exploration, crafting, bartering. All of that is present, all in one game, which is not something that we've seen in the last probably 5 years. So this is a very, very big moment and a big potential for us. So while I was skeptical at first, I've seen and I've talked with their developers, I've talked with a lot of their people, and have seen that this game is pretty much the closest that we've seen to a chapter potential come out of the new development environment in the last 5 years. And there's another really cool ability that I like, and that's the ability for your community to create a historical moment in the game world. So each individual server starts as a fresh slate. And everything that happens in there, whether your cities grow or shrink or the various things that happen in the world, you can basically forge your own story. So the legend of Gaiscioch could be that we stood against a dragon that fought off this one, invasion, and we literally become part of the folklore of our server, which is pretty cool. So we'll see how that plays out. Now, if you'd like to get involved, I encourage you to go to gsch.info/play/AOC. That will link your registered account with my registered account, which will make it a lot easier for me to get you all into some early testings when the opportunity arises. So if you didn't do that already, when the time comes, I'll send out a little call out, and we'll hopefully be able to get everyone linked together. But just trying to simplify things. But let me go ahead, and this is going to be a little long one, but I'm going to show you their Kickstarter video. I think it's very important that you all see this because this is a very, very likely potential for where we could end up in 2019. So it's a long ways off. It's not something that's going to happen tonight, tomorrow, or even next year. It'll probably happen sometime in 2019, but it's definitely looking like a place that we'll want to be.
Hey guys, my name is Steven Sharif and I'm the creative director here at Intrepid Studios. We're working on an upcoming MMORPG named Ashes of Creation. And I'm pretty excited to share with you today on this Kickstarter what we're all about. Ashes of Creation is an open world, non-faction based MMORPG set in a high fantasy world. One of the reasons that I started Intrepid Studios to create Ashes of Creation is because I myself am a gamer. I've been a gamer playing MMORPGs since I was 7 years old, and I've really never experienced a community quite like what MMORPGs have to offer. It's a diverse community. There's a lot of people involved. I mean, thousands of players from across the world, and it was just such a passion of mine to be able to experience that involvement in a game like an MMORPG. Over the past several years, having played MMORPGs, I was kind of not impressed with what has been coming out of the genre. A lot of pay-to-win, cash grab style games, and I just felt that there could be something better. And, if you want to get things done right, sometimes you just have to do them yourself. So in order to accomplish these goals for Ashes of Creation, I really needed to find a team that had a lot of experience with MMORPG production in the past, because as you know, an MMORPG is a massive project. There's a lot of good talent here, and we were able to pull together a pretty amazing team, a team that's worked on Star Wars Galaxies, EverQuest 2, Call of Duty, and a lot of other titles. The reason we're here on Kickstarter is because we want to expand the scope of our project. We want to make it bigger and better. We also want to give an opportunity to you to participate in that community development, to be in on our discussions of design. We feel that Kickstarter and crowdsourcing is a pretty good avenue towards that development. Ashes of Creation is really about 4 primary pillars of our development. It's about our node system, which is an integral part of exactly how the world works and interacts with you as the player. It's also about our meaningful conflict, PvP, and how you can catalyze change in the environment around you. The economy is our 3rd pillar, which focuses on incentivizing you as the player to get out in the world and interact with it. And last, but most important potentially, is our narrative. The narrative really holds all of those systems together and keeping you as the player interested in exactly what different outcomes come about.
When players first arrive on this world, they're going to find it devoid of civilization. There's wilderness everywhere, and it's up to the players to kind of bring civilization to this world. These nodes are how players do that. There are tons of nodes throughout the world, and each of them has a zone of influence. This zone of influence captures all the activity of the different players doing different things. It could be crafting, it could be fighting, it could be gathering. Anything that might give you experience is something that the node's going to be paying attention to. And as you level up your character, the node levels up with you. And as it levels, more and more civilization gets attracted to that area.
We want the world to react to the player. That's the most important part, is the world is reacting to your actions.
Different nodes attract different events. The world doesn't stay quiet for long, and civilization disturbs deep and dark things throughout it. A city that grows up on the side of a mountain might dig a little bit too deep and might disturb the things that are below. And that might include like a giant dragon that erupts with a volcano and lays down waste to that node that developed there. And that's something that wouldn't happen any other place. That's an event that's unique to that particular node at that particular time. And because of that, like, players are going to experience this game very differently depending on how they build it. Each server is going to have its own story, and we're pretty excited to see what players do with that. How do they react to that dragon coming out that mountain? Do they pack up their bags and move? Or do they decide to fight it, to gather all of their friends and take down this monster because this is their home? So that's what differentiates our game from most others. It reacts to what the players do. It reacts to the player's decision.
While you're developing these points of civilization, there is a mechanic for change, and change relating to that meaningful conflict.
Because players are motivated by different things, because they want something from the game that other players don't want, that's going to cause people to butt heads. Different players are going to want different experiences, and the conflict between the two of them will create a bigger and better thing. Out of strife comes rebirth, and that's a core symbol, it's a core theme that occurs throughout the game.
Our castle system, our sieges against nodes, the caravan system, battlegrounds that exist, guild wars. We want there to be a meaning to this conflict. We want players to actually have some skin in the game when it comes to participating in PvP. If you own a home in a node and you don't want to see that home destroyed, you need to defend that city. Risk versus reward is what gives you that adrenaline. It gives you that meaning to participate. So what drives you as a player in the game? For a lot of people, it's the economy, and that's why it's our third pillar. We really want the economy to incentivize you to interact with other players, to get out there and get resources to develop the world. We've regionalized our marketplaces. We've regionalized our warehouses. It's not just one global auction house like a lot of games kind of throws the economy to the side. I wanted to emphasize economy.
One major feature in our economy that differs from most fantasy-style MMOs is that we're not approaching it from a global scale. Rather, we're trying to carve the world up into regions and make each one focus independently, while of course at the same time working together. The global auction house isn't something that you're going to find in our game at the early stages, or maybe ever. Rather, you're going to have to go to a town, you're going to have to buy, sell, or gather whatever you want. What this creates is a competitive advantage, much like we have in the real world. Some towns, some areas are going to be better at certain things, some are going to be worse at some things. But the important part is that you get to play a role in who's better at what and who's worse at what. And if you want to be better at something, we're giving you the opportunity to become better at whatever you want.
Creating those regional marketplaces, regional warehouses, we've incentivized the transit of goods. If you want to create local marketplaces or you want to create a local economy, you can do so because that mithril mine is nearby, and it's not found somewhere else. The caravan system is what allows you to transit goods to other marketplaces.
The economy is usually something that happens in the background of other games, and from day one, we knew that the economy was going to be something really important to us.
The fourth pillar in Ashes of Creation is our narrative, the story, and how it relates to you, both as an individual and as a member of the greater community.
In Ashes of Creation, we've got three main ways that we're going to be telling the story. One is tasks, one are events, and the final one is our overarching narrative. The narrative is going to be where you find most of the story.
Each server will tell a different story, and this story is going to be told by the players. You're going to experience things differently when it comes to what bosses you've encountered because of how the world develops and how you have developed it.
The node system is going to be what drives what storyline branches players experience. Different NPCs are going to be attracted to different nodes. There's going to be different protagonists and antagonists based on how players build their world. It's all going to relate to the same basic story, but you're going to get different viewpoints on different servers, and you're going to find different bad guys on different servers. It's all going to depend on what players uncover, how they uncover it, and when they uncover it. Different servers are going to be able to talk to each other and figure out kind of, what they missed and fill in the blanks and be able to collaborate and build this bigger meta story that you won't get otherwise in other games. So with all of these 4 main pillars of design, you'll notice that it's really hard for us to talk about any one of them without talking about all of the others. And that's a very core part of our design. It's really important that all of these pieces fit together really well and that they create an engine that allows people to keep experiencing new things.
So I want to give you an opportunity here on our Kickstarter to get involved in this project, to become a part of its development. We have enough self-funding to create a core viable product in Ashes of Creation, but we really want to expand it. We want to make it bigger and better, and we know we can achieve that with your help.
Everybody here at Intrepid Studios is incredibly excited about this project, and we're really hoping that we've infected you with that kind of excitement too. We want to get this thing done, and we want to include everybody to be a part of it. This is going to be a different game, and this is going to change the genre. So if you're as excited as we are, let's do this thing. Let's make this thing happen, because we can only do it with you.
I've been on the other side of that screen. I've seen companies come to Kickstarter and promise the world, and either under-deliver or just don't deliver at all. But the reality is we're not those people. I brought together a team of industry veterans who've spent over 40 years combined working on MMORPGs and have created some pretty amazing titles. That's what we're going to do here with Ashes of Creation. We're going to create an amazing game, a game that you can be proud of.
So there you have it, guys. That is Ashes of Creation, and it's definitely looking like it's a very good, strong potential for our Chapter 6. So probably an ETA of alpha late 2018, release sometime mid-2019. So we're a few years out, but it has been in development for quite a while already. They're looking to basically finish the job with their Kickstarter. They've run the past few years off their own money. And the Kickstarter is just supposed to send it over the top and make sure that it comes out as the game it should be, hiring all the QA folk, hiring all the voice actors, stuff like that. That's pretty much what Kickstarter's for. Hell of a project so far. I'm really impressed by the team and what they're doing. I am going to stay in touch with them. We have an interview lined up with them later this fall, so we'll be providing you with a little insight from some of their staff members in the fall issue of Gaiscioch magazine. So until then, feel free to pop up your questions onto the Gaiscioch forums. We'll post up the Ashes of Creation Discord information as well, so that folk can go there. Aside from that, we've launched a few PlayStation Adventure MMOs. So if there are any of you that are on PlayStation, we currently have a guild open in Neverwinter as a social adventure. We have a clan in Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands and are looking for some additional cast members for our Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific live stream. We've been doing a cooperative games stream every Monday, and we'd love to have you guys on there if you want to join us. So that's Mondays, 3 p.m. You can tune in on Twitch, gsh.info/Twitch, or you can join us in-game. Just add Baglada to your friends list, and I'll be happy to invite you in. We also have a Pantheon in Skyforge. I have to say, Skyforge kind of is a pain in the butt. Its voting system is really kind of tedious. If people aren't online and they can't vote for us to level up the guild, it doesn't level up. It's pretty much, when it was released on PC, it was the worst guild system I've ever seen. And now that it's on PS4, it's the worst guild system I've ever seen. But some people are enjoying playing it, so I figure we'll stream it and have some fun with it for those that are playing it. So feel free to hit me up, PSN, Foglata. I'll send you an invite. We have a guild open. We're currently stuck at level 4 because we can't upgrade to level 5 because nobody was logged in to vote yes. So hopefully sooner or later we'll get that upgraded. But hey. And lastly, Skyforge will probably go by the wayside as soon as Terra's released. This is supposed to be coming this fall. They're putting Terra on PS4. I'm quite certain that that's going to be a big thing. So if you want to play Terra with me and a few others, please feel free to connect with us. Once it comes out, we'll be forming up a GSEH there, no doubt. Claim some social adventure fun. So let's go ahead and open the floor for some open forum questions, announcements, and discussions for social adventures. Jerome, do you want to share what you've seen in the Life is Feudal MMO so far?
Sure. The MMO is massive compared to your own. Basically, it is a cluster of almost 50 servers of your own size next to each other in a different map. There is a variety of work still to be done. It seems like a lot of people aren't really focused on griefing and ganking so much. There's a few out there, but they're fairly powerless all in all. They did just start working on the war testing systems. So the very first war with the group that I'm with today, we actually killed a Russian that decided to attack us. Their guild has been standing around firing arrows, kind of guerrilla warfare style. So looks like they've been working hard on the lag stuff, making server crossings really smooth. So literally the way the map is set up, you start in one server, and as you move across the map, you'll move to different servers. And they've made it so that you really don't see much for lag or anything doing that. You might have like a moment where you pause, but it's not really a big deal. So if anybody is interested in playing that, you can get with me. I'm more than happy to help you get with a group. We've got a whole bunch of military vets and just really good group of people that are going to be working with a big alliance. We're not going to be starting fights so much, but we will be more than willing to end them.
Nice. All right, does anyone else have any questions about our social adventures? These are our small-scale little recreational things that Gaiscioch does on the side as GSCH. We play all kinds of different games together. Pretty much anytime the 3 or more Gaiscioch are together, they can claim it as a social adventure activity and earn some social points for that. So, yeah, good. We don't have anyone other than Dream Trip playing Battlegrounds right now. I'm not quite sure. I haven't gotten a copy. I'm not sure who all has it, but I'm pretty sure that if you hit Dream Trip up and say, hey, let's play some Battlegrounds, I'm sure he'll jump right on it. He's streaming it like 24/7 when he's not streaming his trucker game. So, yeah, hit him up. He's definitely into that game. You can watch him stream it on gsch.info/Twitch. We host him, so he does it a lot. That would be awesome, William, except we wouldn't be able to because of copyright laws. We can't broadcast movies or anything like that. We get in enough trouble just by doing music. So, but yeah, that would be hilarious watching some people make fun of movies. That'd be fun. Okay, anyways, we are going to continue if nobody has any other comments or questions.
Hi guys, I just joined. I just have I don't know if you covered it already. I was AFK, but I just had something to say about the Sword Guild missions. At least for Saturdays. I don't think Freister Serenity's here. I'm not sure if he brought it up to you or not yet.
No, go ahead.
Basically, there's times when, like, I don't know, like Puka's running a World versus World event or whatever. You know, there was a time like last month he just couldn't do it, and apparently he doesn't have the ability to update Sork's guild message. So, you know, like some people don't check the guild website all the time, like myself, and then we get on and it's either just not happening or it happened an hour earlier and we missed most of it, sort of thing. So that was, you know, just a issue we've been having, at least in Guild Wars 2, for the Saturdays, is just, the time frame is not always exactly what it usually is, and it's not updated on the guild mission accordingly for the guild message for Sork.
Okay, he had me update it like this last week, and I updated it. MOT. But yeah, if I need to give him permissions to do that, he should be able to. If he can kick off the missions and invite people, he should be able to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have no idea how it works.
But I can check to make sure.
Okay, I appreciate that, because I remember him saying a couple of times that it was up to you or someone above him. I don't know exactly how it works. I just know it was, it was an issue for some of us, just it either not having the notice that it was happening or that it was happening at a different time frame than what the guild message said.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check into it. And that's for Guild Wars 2, for those that are wondering what we're talking about.
Yes, Guild Wars 2 for Sork, Sanctum World Community.
Alrighty, so next we have the Gaiscioch magazine. As you guys know, we shipped our issue 12, which marked our 3 years of publishing. We've had over a 250,000 reads of our magazine, so that's a pretty good milestone. In this last one, we had some artists. We had a chill step musician and a esports community. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Omni Gamers. I had heard of them briefly, but I met them while I was streaming one day, and I started talking with them. And I thought it'd be a lot of fun to kind of hear their side of how they run their community with a esports and traveling and doing the conference circuit and all that kind of stuff. So that was a pretty cool interview. But you can read the latest issue at gsch.info/mag-I12, or you can just go to gsch.info/mag and click on the big magazine. That's the easy way. But issue 13 should be out in June, so you can look forward to that. We've got a big ESO special, even going back and taking a look at some of the older Elder Scrolls games to kind of give a kind of historical look at the Elder Scrolls universe. So that should be a lot of fun. And next up, go ahead.
I was saying that does sound interesting. I think I just linked it in Discord if anyone was curious.
Yep, and just one other note about the Gaiscioch magazine for those that are maybe hearing about it for the first time. Gaiscioch magazine is entirely driven by volunteers. We make no money. The only ads in our magazine are there because somebody scratched our back and helped us out along the way. We give ads to people to say thanks. But other than that, we don't make any money off it. Even when you order a print copy, we put the price at cost so that we don't actually make any on it. So it's a cool little magazine. Google News decided that it's a honorable publication, and we had good enough grammar to pass its article test. So and we weren't lying through our teeth, so we didn't trip the false news test. So that was pretty cool. I'm really proud of the team for getting on Google News and actually getting accredited in a lot of different places and becoming an actual contributing member to the gaming journalism world. So that's really cool. Anyways, we're going to move on to Gaiscioch live streams, see if we can finish this thing out. We had a new change of name. So my old side quest, which was originally created as the games that I play on the side when I'm not playing MMOs, it made sense at the time, but as we move forward and 3 years into it, people are asking the question, well, if your show name is side quest, why don't you ever do any side quests? Because it's always focused on the story. And that's a very valid point. And for somebody that doesn't know that I come from an MMO background, it doesn't make any sense at all. So what we did was we changed it to PlayStation Adventures. This is weekdays, 3 p.m. Usually it runs till about 4:30. We try to take basically a chapter out of story-based games and try to complete that chapter. So we've covered quite a few games. We got quite a few games coming up. Right now we have our Cooperative Mondays, which is the Tom Clancy's Wildlands. Tuesdays we have Sniper Ghost Warrior 3. Wednesdays, we currently have Shyness, the Lightning Kingdom. Thursdays is always Assassin's Creed. It's been Assassin's Creed from the beginning. We're on Brotherhood now. We have Revelation next, and then after that, probably the Egyptian one that's going to be coming out in the fall, or early next year, whenever that is. And then on Friday, we have Styx, which is a very, very awesome game where you get to listen and insult me endlessly. It's fun. Pretty much our live stream lineup is weekdays, 3 to 4 is Fog's PlayStation Adventures. Monday, 6 to 8 is Rift Raiding Adventures. Tuesday at 6 to 8 is The Siege War of Sanctum of Rawl and Guild Wars 2. Friday, 7 to 9, Smitty streams, and in fact, Smitty has a second one on Wednesdays, 5 to 7, which is Smitty Sabers. Missed that one on there. Saturday, 11 to 1 is the Siege War of Azura's Star in ESO. And then Sundays, 11 to 1 p.m. is Weekend Warriors with Screenager. You can find all of our shows at gsch.info/Twitch. You can also see the recap, gsch.info/YouTube. Now we'll open it up one last time for questions and answers. If you have any questions about the Gaiscioch or what we do, who we are, anything at all, please feel free to type them into Twitch or YouTube or into Discord, and I'll read them out and answer them for you. William Brandis says, Fog comes from an MMO background? I wouldn't have the foggiest.
Boo.
I never knew you were an NPC.
If you're gonna, stream puns, let's at least make them worthwhile puns.
But bad puns are so much more fun.
Yes, they are.
What about a bigger guild bank in Rift? There is no bigger guild bank in Rift. It's as big as it gets. We actually have 3 guilds, just because we have the banks. So, what you got is what you get. That's as big as it gets. Alright, any other questions? I see some people typing. Wasn't there a mention that there were maybe a bigger guild bank system coming in Rift? I haven't seen anything about that. If there is, I'd say yay. There is an Ashes of Creation section under Social Adventures. I'll link it in a second here. There we are.
Oh, I've never even heard of that personally.
Looks pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, it's a new title that got announced last December. And, I'll rewind a little bit. Back in November, we were like, well, crap, there is literally nothing on the horizon that fits the bill. All 3 of our games are hovering around the 200 to 300 mark. Everyone wants to go to that new best thing, yet there is no new best thing that fits everybody's needs. What the hell are we going to do? And then out of nowhere, around Christmas time, Ashes of Creation gets announced. And we're like, what's this? And we started looking into it, talking with some of the devs, and getting involved. And it's literally exactly what we wanted in an MMO. If you look at our we have a little edit kind of a compatibility matrix as such that we've built over the years, and this thing lines up with it pretty much directly on par. I mean, it's literally T for T. Everything that we've wanted in MMO, this thing is putting into it. So, it's definitely something that we're watching. It's not going to be out until probably 2019, but it's looking like the most potential home that we've had in a long, long, long time. And it's got both a rating side and a PvP side, so it's pretty much exactly what we're looking for. So.
When you say PvP, is it more structured or like a world versus world? Like an ESO like war thing? I'm not sure.
It's all taking place in the same world, so you don't there are supposedly areas that are full PvP, but for the most part, you have to turn on PvP if you want a PvP. There are areas where if you walk into it, you're going to get flagged PvP, but those are noted on the map. They're noted on your mini map. So when you're walking up to it, it's going to have red and show you that you're walking into a PvP area. Like if you try to approach a caravan that's not yours, you can be PvP near a caravan. But the sieges are basically I want to find out more about them, but yeah, there's no factions per se. So you basically align yourself with the city. And then you fight for that city and you grow that city, and all the things that you do around that city will help contribute to the success of that city. So there's various types of nodes. Like there's a war version of the city, like one that's focused on war. There's one that's focused on commerce, one that's focused on trade, or all these other things. And if you watch some of their videos, you can really learn a lot from it. I'm hoping that when we get our interview, we'll be able to clear up a lot of the main questions that I've had that popped up. Like if my biggest question right now is if there are no factions and you want to lead a siege on some other city, how do you tell the difference between your players and their players? I mean, is everyone flag PvP? How are you guys joined so that you're not killing each other? And if it is going to be full PvP, everybody against everybody, that's just going to turn into a giant bloodbath. That's going to be nuts.
Well, that's like he was saying in the trailer. He was saying that if you have a house in a city and you don't want to see it destroyed, you have to defend the city. What I don't understand is what's to keep some huge guild from essentially dominating every node on the server.
Well, that's the thing, is they can't belong to every node on the server. So they basically have to call somewhere home. And that's kind of where I think their boundaries are being drawn, is where you declared your allegiance to. So if it's to a city, I don't know how they're going to do their structure, but that's something that we can find out along the way. We still got a long ways before it's going to be, even playable in alpha and whatnot. So,
sure, the graphics were amazing.
Well, I mean, in all honesty, they're using the Unreal Engine, and that comes with a huge tool set to make really amazing graphics really quick. And I think they made a very, very, very smart move to go with the Unreal Engine, because a lot of their stuff is really easy to create. I've worked with the Unreal Engine in the past, and it is really a good foundation to build from. It streamlines a lot of the stuff that would have eaten a lot of time if you're trying to build a proprietary engine. And you guys made a comment during the video that this looks a lot like EverQuest Next, and I know at least 3 of the devs came from EverQuest Next. Their team is still pretty small right now. The Kickstarter is hoping to beef them up and build that team up. But I know a lot of influence came from EverQuest Next. So
yeah, it seems like it's almost the pure definition of what a sandbox really should be: completely player defined and driven.
Well, the neat thing is going to be like day one. There's not going to be any cities, so literally you're going to be going out in the wilderness and forging your own path. And you basically pull all the Gaisciochs into one corner. We find a nice snowy peak that's defensible, and we start building our city. And then, as we grow, we start building alliances with other people and build some trade routes with other cities and hopefully build our own piece of the world, I think it could be really cool. And I'm personally going to try to sway us towards if and when we do launch in there, we build an area that is basically a great place for new players to learn. And I want to, have events that are focused on helping people learn, going out there, helping new players learn how to play the game, and also protect them and be those, the true definition of Gaiscioch, the people that protected the land, protected the people that lived within their land. And I think that that's going to be a really big piece that we can play in that role. And we're not going to be punished because we're big. We're going to be embraced because we're big. So I think that it's really our best shot that we've had since probably Warhammer Online to really make an impact in the world.
Well, it looks very interesting. Hopefully their subscription is reasonable.
What I heard is looking like the $14 price point that you get for every other MMO.
That's definitely reasonable, especially when you don't have to buy a game.
Yeah, I mean, you're not paying up front, just basically paying a subscription to play it, and you get everything with it. So it's, from what I've heard a few mentions that even like the expansion packs are going to be rolled up into it. So I'm not sure if that's going to stick, if it's going to make its way all the way to launch, or if they're going to change their mind about that. But I've heard a few mentions that, all the content in the future would be rolled into that fee that you're paying every month, because they literally want to build a game as a service, just like you would with Netflix. You don't pay for each upgrade of Netflix. You don't pay for the new releases on Netflix. They're there because you're paying a subscription, and that's kind of the idea that they want to have for Ashes of Creation, is that you're paying for a service, and that service is to bring new content to you constantly.
Well, if it works, it can definitely redefine MMOs.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of really good games coming to the market that are pretty much trying to break the mold and trying to change the way of thinking of MMOs. And it'll be really interesting to see which ones think and which ones win.
And you've already created an account?
Oh, yeah. If you go to gaiscioch.info/play/AOC and create yourself an account, it will link your account to mine. And then when we hopefully get into the testing opportunities, I'll be able to bring all of you guys in.
So, Fog, one thing about the questions on this so far, I know some people had some questions on how big guilds wouldn't dominate in it. And it's set up kind of similarly to Life is Feudal in the landmass aspect, where it's just really big. And there's no fast travel. So that's what's going to keep them from dominating everywhere.
Yeah, you're literally going to have to ride each individual place. So, and there's no centralized auction hall either. So your trade routes, you're literally going to have to pick up your stuff and go to the next town over to sell it to them for a different price. So it'll be a really kind of interesting mechanic.
Sure, and hopefully they stick with it. Unfortunately, in most games they give in to a lot of the player bases and they start adding a bunch of stuff in the game that they never really wanted to keep people happy.
Well, see, they got a system where they can actually allow people a little bit of freedom with that, because the higher level cities, one of them gives you porting within the zone of the city, and one of them gives you a city and area of influence wide auction house.
I mean, like in relating to like fast travel and stuff, people will complain and a lot of people give in,
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying that they've already got the system in where players can kind of do that if they really want to in their limited area.
Are they still doing Kickstarter?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
I would definitely, if you want to contribute to a game, this is a great one to contribute to. We can get a lot of really cool stuff put into this game by supporting it. And you know me, I don't really push a lot of Kickstarters on people, but I have a very good feeling that this is where we're going to be in 2019.
Where can I find that?
gaiscioch.info/play/AOC. Posted it into general chat.
How about you do that a little slower so I can write it down?
Can you put a link on the webpage or something?
It is. It's if you go to the Ashes of Creation social adventure page, which is on the homepage. If you scroll down, it's under social adventures.
Okay.
And then they're coming under official website. That'll be that same exact link.
Hey, Fog, why don't you put a link for that into Twitch as well?
I tried, and it keeps replacing it.
Now, when I go to that site, it says register now. What did you say about linking with you?
If you use that link to get there, it's already got the Foglata tag there. So when you register, it'll flag you as Foglata. Link to me, and then I can flag it when we decide to bring people in for the testing. Well, anyways, guys, I think that's it for the questions and answers. I'm going to let you guys run. I see a lot of you have already jumped. So feel free to get social with us, gaiscioch.info, and then /Twitter, /Facebook, /Twitch, /YouTube, /Voice, /Steam, or just do gaiscioch.info to learn more about the community. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here, guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun here in the future. I think things are ramping up. It'll be real fun. We got ESO Morrowind. We got Rift 4.2 coming, which is going to open up another little bit of territory. We got GW2 Living War Story, and then eventually an expansion. I think 2017, the later half, is going to be really big for us. I think we're going to see a lot of announcements coming. I think E3 is going to be huge, so if you are not tuned in yet, you should definitely add E3 to your Twitter list and be sure to check it out when it's live. There's going to be some big announcements there for sure. And then PAX West is also going to be a really big convention this year. I would not be surprised if we get something really big out of the ArenaNet camp at PAX West. So do stay tuned for that. We'll be meeting again in another 3 months for another Gaiscioch Family Summit. Thanks everyone for being here. As always, long live oil.
Thanks for hosting it. Take care.